Welcome back. So this morning I was having my cup of coffee, watching the Food Network, and got hungry, of course. Decided to make some bacon, and then I was like, well, along with that bacon, let's make some egg McMuffins. So I've got my little Dash mini waffle maker and my Dash grill, and I'm going to show you my basic chaffle recipe, which kind of is the closest thing I can find that tastes like bread for a bun. And because it's on a waffle setting, it just holds your ingredients wonderfully for a sandwich, for anything pizza crust. But for this flavor, it's the best, as closest you're going to get to like some white bread. So in this recipe, it is 4 tablespoons of egg whites, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 4 tablespoons of almond flour, 2 teaspoons of water, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And these are the ingredients I'm going to use. I put them all into my little blender and blend it up, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then pour in about 2 to 3 tablespoons, but I'll show you that how I do that in my mini waffle of this mixed ingredient. And I think I'm going to do half the batch just by basic recipe, but I also have seen where people are adding nutritional yeast flakes. So I might at the end do a couple of the buns that are left over with adding that to the mix. So let's get started. Okay, so into the blender, we're going to put in our 4 tablespoons of almond flour. It comes out pretty thin, a little thinner than your pancake mix. Okay, so we've got our almond flour. And then we're going to add in our cream cheese. There's 1. 2, and then our egg whites. 2, 3, 4. And then 2 teaspoons of our water. And last, our 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And that's it. And you can add a pinch of salt if you'd like, which I will do that. And some people put in a little bit of the confectioner swerve if you want, just a little to set the taste of the batter, but this is my basic recipe that I've always gone to, and it works fine for me. And then we'll just put this on. Perfect. You can see it's just like a pancake mix, maybe just a little bit thinner. Let's get it to the waffle machine. Okay, so I have my Dash plugged in. It's been preheating for a few minutes already prior to me mixing the batch, and we're going to just open it up. I don't spray my Dash. A lot of people do, so it's totally up to you. Mine doesn't seem to stick. So we'll give this a go, and we're just going to pour in our batter, and I just go over the grates, just like that, eyeballing it, and then when it looks like it's almost quite full, I just shake it a little just to kind of make the mix move, or you can take a little spatula and just kind of make sure that all the grate is covered but not overly filled because you don't want it to spill out. And then we're gonna let that cook for 3 minutes. Okay, it has been 3 minutes and it lifted right up. So it's very important to cook it that period of time or it'll stick completely. And that's a mistake a lot of people make with just the basic chaffle of cheese and egg. So there you go, beautifully nice thickness. We're gonna put that on the cooling rack. And we'll get our next batch in. And same thing, just pour it around. There you go. Okay, 3 minutes. Oops. There we go. So I might have used just a tiny bit too much batter in these because they're definitely thicker, but I think they're gonna be perfect. They'd be a great burger bun for sure. So it looks like my typical batch of this makes 4 buns or 2 sets. So it looks like this last bit is all I have left in here for this batch. So I went ahead and added some nutritional yeast, and let's pour this in so you have a better view. Yeah, so somehow I don't have quite as much batter as I normally do, so I'm not sure. But let's get that in there and see how this one tastes. I'm very curious by adding the teaspoon of nutritional yeast because I have been very curious about the flavor of that. They say you can add it to anything. Some people say it kind of tastes like cheese, so this will be interesting. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. Cooked. That's our last one, and this one has the nutritional yeast. I'm going to let that cool down for a second, and then I'll show you how I make my eggs in the griddle. Okay, I've got my griddle all heated up. I'm going to actually take some of the bacon grease that I used when I made my bacon, and we will just spoon just a little bit to coat the pan, just for flavor for the egg. There we go. And then my first one I'll make with an actual whole egg. And I'm gonna leave the yolk solid just to see how that turns out in the griddle for you. So you just put it in just like that, close it up, and let's see what happens. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Let's see. Looks like we've got a cooked white part. Let's check out and see how our rest of this baby's gonna, always a flop. Oh geez. It's all right, it's on there. Okay, let's shut that down and let's poke into this and see how our egg is. Oh yes, perfectly runny. So 2 minutes, and that's what you get. You get a perfectly fried egg in your little dash grill, if that's what you have, if you don't have a stove option. That way you know how that works. So I'm gonna do the same with an egg white so that we can do our bacon cheese egg McMuffin. So a little bit of oil again. We're gonna use the egg whites this time. Add maybe just a little bit more to that. There we go, close it up. Add half a slice of pepper jack to that right before it cooks. And that should crisp up a little bit. Okay, that's about 1 minute, and that's what that cheese looks like on there. I'm gonna add the other half of the cheese this way, close it back up and let that crisp. So that's almost done. I'm gonna put some mayonnaise on the bottom part of my chaffle. So just throw on some mayonnaise for a little bit of flavor. And then And let's check on our egg and cheese. Oh yeah, beautiful. Gorgeous. All right, let's see if I have better luck with this one. Now, if you really want it completely crisped up, you can flip this like that. You add a little bit more cheese on that side, or you can just let it cook a little bit longer. Let's do that. Okay, let's check it out. Nice. Very nice. A little ooey gooey. Perfect. Got my chaffle mayonnaised up and ready to go. Get a good grasp on that there. Perfect. And there you go. That's how you make your egg, cheese, and bacon. Slap on some bacon on these babies. And that's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you'd like. Just an easy way to make a great chaffle. Oh yes, and side note, you really don't need to add the nutritional yeast. I would totally omit that. I wouldn't even worry about it. It's not worth it. It didn't make it disgusting. It just didn't do much for it. So the basic recipe that I gave you, I would just do that. And you can double it if you wanted to make, or triple the batch if you wanted to make several and store them for a few days. Because they're not super cheesy, I put mine in the toaster just to crisp them up before I'm going to use them again. Or you could just, put your sandwich on them cold and take them for lunch. So we've got our bacon, egg, and cheese chaffle. And then we've got where I just laid it on. So it's almost like having a English muffin with the sunny side up and some bacon. And it's just yummy. So give this a try. You're gonna love it. Enjoy.